we share half the room. Don't come on my side, you stay on your side. And our first incident there, FBI, boom, 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 boom. Tommy jumps out the back window. My mother runs to the door, and we like to speak. He's not here. We know he's here. And then my sister comes up behind my mother. Mom, Daddy just jumped out the back window. So they take off out the lobby, and they're going around the block. And because Tommy did jump out the back window. I'm watching this fucking lunatic. Boom, boom, he's gone out the fucking back window.
Take a ride in the life of Jack Colucci, who first experienced death at the age of 5 years old when his father was murdered by Gambino family consigliere, Salvatore Sammy de Bogravano. It wasn't until 25 years later, when Sammy admitted in open court, that he learned who actually killed his father. For the next 30 years, Jack has life-changing moments that can only be told through his own words. You too will see. You truly don't know Jack.
Now, life changes. My grandfather's gone. My father's gone. My father's side of the family is fighting for us, and I have to say, thank God they fought. They fought up until now. We moved to Bay 23rd Street, Bath Avenue, right in the heart of Bath Beach, where Tommy's comfortable, and that whole filthy crew that was hanging out in 76th Street is now, that's their corner, their luncheonette. That's where they do all their fucking whatever the fuck they did in the day. Scamming, selling weed, fucking whatever the fuck they made money, robbing, hijacking, planning, murdering, whatever it took to make a fucking dollar. And that was like the filthy end, because 18th Avenue was the greaseballs, all right? And that's where I was born and raised. But my grandfather actually was from Manhattan. He would even though they moved to Brooklyn at one point, they moved his business was in Manhattan, in a cafe, like a gentleman, not like animals on the fucking street. But anyway, that died when he died. He actually died when my father died. So now we moved to Bay 23rd Street. Tommy rips us out of that situation. He feels more comfortable there. It's like a narrow railroad apartment that's broken up, where a glass is between my mother and Tommy. Me and my sister is sharing a room. We share half the room. Don't come on my side, you stay on your side. And our first incident there, FBI, boom, 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 boom. Tommy jumps out the back window. My mother runs to the door, and we like to speak. He's not here. We know he's here. And then my sister comes up behind my mother. Mom, Daddy just jumped out the back window. So they take off out the lobby, and they're going around the block. And because Tommy did jump out the back window. I'm watching this fucking lunatic. Boom, boom, he's gone out the fucking back window. And I guess he was loan sharking too, because there was an incident where we had a bar, and then he had this Doberman pinscher where he loved more than, I was petrified of it, but he didn't give a fuck. Tommy's mother and father lived around the block on Bay 22nd in this filthy apartment. But it's funny, because as soon as I killed my father, they made a lot of moves, because a big fucking, probably had to do with Lufthansa, because after that whole thing, that's all I heard in my ear, Lufthansa. We moved to Staten Island to a big house. But in Bay 23rd, it was where it started filthy immediately. Him, and again, God bless my mother. I love her. I am the man who I am because of my mother. Okay. Also, all the people I'm going to talk to you about, I thank God. Why is this lunatic showing me and my sister naked pictures of him and my mother on the Polaroid? Remember the Polaroids? And then burning them in the sink. My sister could barely, she goes, I says, Carrie, remember that? She says, recently, I just said, she goes, I could smell it still. Yeah, certain things I could smell. And that was like, what's going on in my life, you know? And always would show me his guns, was so jealous of my mother. She couldn't fucking do anything. And then it went from him being so jealous to then him beating her up, throwing her, and then next thing I know is she's doing his hair to go out on Friday nights, like date night. Well, it was like, it was insanity. I'm watching everything wrong. Okay. And then cocaine comes into the picture. And I'm watching them snort cocaine in the little jars in the refrigerator. I'm thinking I'm 10, snorting, seeing what's going on there. And it was all kind of normal for that time where I knew that come a certain time, almost every week then it got to be, where they would fight, wreck the house, and me and my sister would have to go to my mother's house, Grandma Katie. And she was alone because my grandfather died, and we would stay there. And I knew that we would get $5 from Tommy, and I would go and buy candy the next day, and I knew everything would be all right. And they'd fix the house up, and then we would be able to move back in. But that was like, it was normal to be the jealousy, the drugs, I'm going out, I gotta go do my thing, and now you're not, you know, again, you've watched every fucking gangster movie out there. It's all the same. Everybody's the same. You know, I don't care what fucking country you go to. It's all the same. I'm doing my thing. Oh, so we move in on Bay 23rd. Now it's my first day of school. Okay, and again, it's like we probably moved there. Whatever the case may be, it's my first day of school in this thing. I'm just getting like adjusted from going from 76th Street to this beautiful place to Bay 23rd. First day of school, I walk in, and the next thing I know is I just walk into the schoolyard, and I look at a kid who's my height, but he looks like a man, like, all right? It's a 5th grade midget, which he looks at me and goes, what are you looking at? And he's like one of the tough kids. So he's like, boom, boom, boom. He's got me on the floor in like fucking 2 seconds. He's fucking punching me as hard as he could. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why is he doing this? But you know what? Just like, came to him like, it don't fucking hurt. Like, what the fuck? All right. So I got my first taste of violence, let's say, besides watching my mother and father and let's call it family. Here's another thing of violence during that time where I've never been knocked out. And from this young age, I think I was about 8 years old when I used to go back and forth now from Bay 23rd to 76th Street. So now I got 2 sets of friends. And it's kind of getting a little awkward in my life because now I'm starting to know too many people and too much of their personal things, and my mind is going in other directions between adults, children, and everything else. And the one kid that's tough on 76th Street is Smitty, who I still love to this day. He's fucking nuts. He's older than me, and he was always the guy you rely on to knock somebody out in the neighborhood was older. And we're in the schoolyard, and I had gum in my mouth. And I go to spit it out, and his little brother, Eddie, was there. And it fucking goes in his head. And immediately, he thinks I spit in his head. He immediately runs to get Jimmy. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Here comes Jimmy. And I got fucking, you spit gum on my head. No. And I had another inside. And he goes, where? And boom, now. He was already, I must have been 8. He must have been about 12. Boom, he fucking hits me. And I went, boom. I went, Jim, I didn't mean it. Like, and he just looked at me like, I should have fucking knocked this kid out like fucking, that's all I said. I didn't mean it. Like, and again, you got to be fucking rough and ready to roll. In that same school year, they had the moon landing, okay? In that time, I think it was like 72. And I come back and I come back from school. We watched it on a big television, black and white thing. I'll never forget, like the first big black and white television. And the teachers set up in the hallway as many things as could you watch, and we watched the moon landing. I get back from school, and I see my mother being, Mama, I watched the moon landing in school, and I see Tommy behind. I go, where'd you watch it? I says, on a big television in school. Television in school. That's all he had to hear. The next day, that crew, I think in broad daylight, I swear to God, they got the fucking television. I remember two guys, and I think it was this guy 40 and Billy Toot, bring them back to fucking television, back right and walking right into my bedroom. Put it there. That was my first television. Actually, it was the television that we had for the whole house. Oh God.
What was that like next day at school after the TV?
You know, nobody says anything. It's not like, holy shit, they robbed the nobody said a word. It's like whatever you did. Matter of fact, they rob. I see guns like the, like at the Color Guard, the fake guns. Now, St. Finbar's, who was my public school, and then a block down is St. Finbar's. In there, I was the Color Guard, and I mentioned that they have these white rifles that are really fucking cool. They look like real guns. The whole neighborhood running around playing army with the white guns and the flags the next fucking day. Like, and the church didn't say a word. I had those guns for a long time. It was just fucking normal. The strong survived. That's all it was the strong survived in that fucking neighborhood. I remember just having to just go to school like it was a fucking normal thing, right? Shake it off and get up and go. It's normal, okay. There was another incident. I was just thinking it before. I used to get tortured by the guys, like hang out in the corner with all the guys, but you go and think about it. They were the teenagers. We were like 7, 8, 9-year-olds. Then maybe up to 10, like that crew hung out. Then like from 11 to 15 or 16, there was another crew. And then from 17 to 20s was another crew. And then the older guys, and everybody broke down into like crews. Another situation going into that fucking school, another day, lunchtime. I'm going to go out for like my first time. I'm going to go out. My mother gives me money to go. I said, Mom, there's a hot dog guy outside. Instead of eating the school lunch, I can go outside and have a hot dog. My first time with my new friend, we go outside. I'm feeling really cool. I get the hot dog, mustard. I go to take a fucking bite, a fucking bee. As I'm biting it, a beef bite blows my lip up. I got to go crying back home. Fucking, my lip is out the ears. Like that school, the schoolyard, there was a bunch of kids playing in a box, right? And I didn't know they had a stick in the box, all right? So I look in the fucking thing, the kid, boom, it fucking pokes me right in the eye. My eyes fucking bleed. I had to run home with the fucking blood in my. It was like normal fucking things, just every day. Climbing the fences, I find the fucking knife. It's all full of blood. And I mentioned it to Tommy. Give me that knife. Give me that knife. And obviously, somebody got stabbed. One of like the older kids stabbed another kid. They hid the knife. I happened to be climbing on the fence and fucking grab it. Another time in the school well, I'll tell you something crazy about that school well, but I'll tell you another time with me and this kid James, we're down in there, and I look and I see a wallet. That's what it was. I find a wallet, and it's got a $5 bill, but it's a diamond, like a 5-carat diamond in the fucking thing. And I throw the diamond. I don't know any words. I take the thing, and I even throw the wallet. All right, and it's a big thing, Tommy. They robbed somebody and had it. They were hiding it. I find all the fucking somebody's thieves or murder weapons. I found the murder list for Sammy. What the fuck is this? Oh God. I remember my mother and Tommy now taking me to school. Meaning they got to put me from one school to another school now, okay? And they got to classify me of how retarded I am or how smart I am. But they turned out how retarded I was in school thing. I couldn't read. I think I was supposed to go in 2nd grade, and they kept me in 1st because I couldn't read Dick and Jane. What was that book? That first book that they tried. Maybe I refused to read it. It's actually what I did. I refused to read that fucking book. I hated that whole feeling of school. It felt wrong. It just felt wrong. And now I know why it felt wrong. But school was not my thing. I was different.